reinventing, and we wouldn't have square wheels now if people wouldn't try and reinvent the wheel.
You don't want a square wheel.
That's
very
true,
uncomfortable
but,
ride.
but you sometimes have to go for the reinvention. Sometimes you actually get a better part out of it.
Like tank trellises. Let's have that instead. Okay, they talked a bit about the bans. I guess we'll see what comes through. Maverick and the limitations of hard destruction. The theory is there that Secret, they're a more versatile team. They're a mobile team. That's what Kendrew with the addition there wants to sort of bring to them. Empire, they can be a bit static, but they can be very good when they're a bit static. They can really sort of drive that repetition in their sort of pickups, in their abilities. They sort of say, well, this is our hand and we're still going to beat you with it even though we've just shown it to you.
Yeah, definitely so. Thatcher also being removed, so we have that Maverick-Thatcher combination. It is often something we see on maps like Clubhouse, for example, where heart breaches are very, very needed. Miram being removed as well, so that's going to be the first defensive ban. We have one more to go. Was it going to be the Valkyrie? Is it going to be an Echo? Or is it going to be something completely differently?
Thunderbird.
Maybe. I mean, it's available now, but I guess it's going to be Mute instead. So
Mute's gone.
Thunderbird is still up. Yeah, we can still see her. I haven't seen her much. I think only 3 rounds in EUL so far.
She hasn't had the same pace. I think that's the thing, though, is we got a little bit spoilt for new operators getting an immediate run out, especially, you know, with the sort of pickup of Rooney around that sort of area. It was just, oh, all of these operators are really starting to have a big impact. And then Thunderbird's kind of pulled away a little bit. She's not as impactful. I have a feeling Ossa might get some fun play in a few months.
Maybe, indeed.
She's allowed in the board.
Well, actually, that will be...
That's a while away.
Either the Major 6 Invitational or the finals, actually, possibly. Who knows?
I guess we'll see.
We'll see, indeed.
Either way, Mute, the removal there, it's obviously an operator that's sort of swung into a little bit of favour recently, especially with the play of Flores, and how on this map, I think it was BDS with the first team that we saw just drive home Flores. If we're going to talk about operators that when they got introduced had a bit of a swan song performance, it was that game with BDS on Cafe where they even got the first team kill with a Flores drone, which was also technically the first comp kill with a Flores drone. Was the team kill, which is amazing. And that's it. That removal of the Mute is really going to cause some very big problems because there's great routes, great drops, great hashes, and great windows, if you're very talented, to try to drive and manipulate those drones in round of the corners.
Now, of course, Mute has changed a bit. It's now a spherical area of effect rather than the column it was before, which would have just blocked off everything up and nothing down. We, of course, had the Selma, of course, in APAC with the Cyclops, which created that small pixel hole. That was a whole segment on its own. But look at that. Look at the side of Empire. There is going to be a Finka on the board. It's an operator that we've been talking about. It would be great if there wouldn't be the recoil reduction that she brings, because everything she does is very beneficial. You move quicker through the barbed wire, you move, like flashes are instantly gone, Ella Grismot's effects are also instantly gone, so overall, very strong operator.
Well, there's a spray around against Dan. You can see that there's a camera on the far end of the street that they're using to see when the rappel comes through, ready for the hop out here. They want to try and get them as they steadily their way up the building, and there's the blow, there's the impact, there's the spray of the MPX, just misaligns it there. Unfortunately, can't get the connection that they quite wanted. Keenan has suffered quite a lot in the meantime with that engagement you assume with Dan. The Finker buff comes through as they start to try and apply the pressure onto these top hatches too. The standard take here. You build your attack around red, look for potentially some of the cross peaks on the piano, take that property, the Goyo on that corner on Pixel is going to be the next big problem, but there's also the one buried in the middle of Freezer. You'll sometimes see this for a team that enjoys Goyo. You have that sort of, here's the first wall, okay, fall back to the second. It's like attack on Titan, but the Titan has 5 Russians buried on the back line, and well, it's the other way around, actually. The Titans are the ones attacking. I'm going to get flamed by this by Jess and Des later, I think.
She's already smiling like she is going to be, well, ripping you apart for that one. Either way, it is 2 grenades or 3 grenades that have been used and are, well, basically to no effect. Kendrew, a quick punch will be able to take down Always, though. That's going to be the entry of this game. Is the sledge gone? However, I don't think he had any grenades left.
Joystick is trying to hold the angle here to see if they can catch out the body on the top. As I said, this is kind of where the pressure starts, and it's instantly all over them. But the run out from the underneath, Kendrew down on the VIP door gets one. Keenan gets the lock off on the top, is able to find a sliver of escape here, but the hatch is closed, so no further. Going to hold the close angle and hope they don't quite get the spray around the corner, but the two remaining bodies buried at the top of Red Empire. 50 seconds left, and unfortunately still all of the work left to do. The spray through does finally catch and get there first there. Keenan goes down as the Flores drone tries to get a little bit of reconnaissance otherwise put together, but the concern is that there's still those players potentially loose and on their own. They still have to break their way through here. They've still got the hold inside Freezer, and there's still a lot of utility on the board.
A lot to do indeed. 25 seconds left on that clock. It is Shepard still with the RC. Retiro's trying to get some information out, whereas the piano control is now being used to go into the bathroom, maybe even extend into the freezer. But with 10 seconds left in a 2 and 4, they really need to win these gunfights now. And with Sleben coming in from the side, but the Alda, he just managed to pick up the final 2 kills, and that will be the first round up to Secret.
Very aggressive start. Very kind of idea of, okay, let's make them uncomfortable in their approach. Okay, it is that first round. It is that opening sort of play. It's the gambits that, as the game goes on, might not come off as well. We saw in the very first engagement that led to a body between Kendrew and Always on that window. It was the timing of the punch. He was a little bit surprised, I think, by the reveal of Always. Fortunately for him, so was Always. Quicker to get to the spray and get the body down and then go for the drop round rotate. Those are things that won't be as effective later on, but we've seen the similarities here when Empire played Cyclops on this map way back. Way back when?
I mean, way back during SI, where they were bullied outside of the building.
And that's it. Play against Empire outside the building. Don't let them get comfortable early on, and they sort of spend the rest of the game uncomfortable.
Yeah, definitely so. And you know, of course, we have a bit of a rehost now. Empire have the opportunity, of course, to talk between them. It's not a tactical, by the way. That means the coach will stay muted, but you know that doesn't stop the rest of the team to just talk and bring in some new possibilities. We did see the Finka into play, and there was actually a bit of a Twitter discussion about her because a lot of the pros have just written her off as an operator due to the fact that, she would give you the recoil buff, which is annoying if you're mid-gunfight, makes you lose gunfights in that case rather than win it. And people were like, what does she exactly do nowadays? Because there has been a lot of changes. You know how, first of all, the Adrenaline Surge would give you 20 overheal. That would slowly decrease. It now just heals you for 20. And if you're full HP, you just get the overheal effect instead. So what you saw there on the Ace is that he actually got the permanent HP from that. So, there's these little changes that, in APAC back then were being used quite a bit by Cloud9, now by Cyclops, but are also now being adapted or basically adopted by some of the European teams, as Empire is trying to show here today.
It's that growth of the game. It was, we always hop between metas. We hop between those sort of situations. We found ourselves, it was sometimes a bit slow to change metas before, but you've got to look at the two kind of major swings that we've had about 6 months ago with the changes of ADSs, and then now where we've had the health pools changed, we've had sort of these core fundamental ideas that have been manipulated that you never really know what's going to be a huge change. You never really know what's going to be a huge expectation. The fact we're seeing Finka across the board, the fact that we saw Finka in the hands of the best rated player last Playday.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a growth. It's an exploration into the possibilities of what this new system offers us.
And something we also see is that it's not the LMG being used, which of course perfectly synchronizes with the Adrenaline Surge, which is a bit of a higher recoil, but with the Adrenaline Surge you counter that to literally zero shooting a laser. The Spirit 308 is being brought more and more, so big gun there as well. Joystick this time, however, will be swapping off of it, going back towards the Sophia. Of course, the M762 has had a bit of a recoil nerf a couple of patches ago, so it might be completely possible we're seeing the LMGE coming out here.
Now, obviously, we saw the bait of the play there, the Valk towards the Pulse. They kind of want to waste some time with those Valkyrie cameras outside. They want to make them look for them. It was a tool that was, in ways, effective. I think Kendrew went by audio when he went for the window punch. Gonfi almost got it on the corner there, but still, look at where they were successful. It was the audio. It was that close range thing. Hey, who brings that? Pulse does in the hands of Packball. They're going to see if they can try and utilize that. Obviously, you also expect this one to start with a top take, as you generally do. It's going to be get control of the top, try and push across, and then go for the plant inside reading usually. If not, you can try and manipulate your way either round. Pulse, 3 C4s, problem, Empire.
That could be a big problem indeed, and definitely that Pulse will be coming in clutch, either to play vertical towards the piano, or as you just said, reading, which is of course going to be that site. You expect always on that sledge to start opening up above on the cocktail balcony, and that is basically what they're trying to stop from happening. Just get a nicely timed C4 on there, and certainly there's no more verticalities being opened up. Of course, there's a bit of redundancy. You have Dostoyevsky with the impact, and of course the breaching charges, and then Dan himself is also using the breaching charges. So even if always would fall early on, there's still an opportunity here for Empire to at least get some vertical pressure.
Now you can see the caution that they're sort of paying heed here. They're concerned about, as I said, the cameras, or even, you know, any intel that might lead to someone throwing a C4 towards one of those hatches. It's not the most uncommon play in place to try and drop people from. You generally expect, as I said, the take to start up here. You want both those angles open before you can try and find any comfort making your way down. Joystick is wasting no sort of time here. He's dug his way into the piano side, obviously bringing the Zafir with that LMG gives you a huge sort of, I guess, flexibility now in terms of just how many firefights you can take in a row. It's a gun where you get the pop-up to tell you to reload and you still have 50 bullets left.
Yeah, basically, it just allows you to continue firing. It's a bit counterintuitive when you're like, oh, I need to reload, and you're like, wait, but I still have twice the magazine capacity of my opponent right here, so I'm going to be able to continue that fight. As Slabit actually, playing from below, could be a true... Oh, actually already used a C4. I'm not sure if that's pre-placed. It looks like it, because on the top of the HUD we see 2 and 2. So he might just be waiting for the call of the Pulse to tell him which one needs to be detonated.
Now, as they start trying to apply the pressure here to the top of White and Lumber, they have the pings coming through. They know that there's at least a body up there, and the body's going to try and buy as much time as possible. Kendrew has already popped 2 of his canisters now, all 3, as he's just going to sort of hold them at bay. A minute left, but any slowing down of this take on the top is going to be something that comes through, because it's still just the first step, or in some books the second, before you can actually try and implement onto the site itself. There goes the pop. As I said, the calls from the Pulse are happening roughly around reading. They're going to see if they can try and take care of Always, but he's a very cautious player when he needs to be. We've already seen him excel at that when he was approaching the hatches on the top before. He's not going to throw his life away for the sake of another explosion that comes through. The drones doing a bit of that themselves as well.
Still one in pocket, of course. Keenan as Kendrew now will go down. Will be confirmed by Scyther. Empire continuing their top 4 hold, but look at the time, there's only 25 seconds left. They really need to hurry now. They really need to go for a take, and I'm wondering if they have enough control upstairs.
Well, Keenan proves that not quite here as Packball gets the double there, swinging around on the opposite side. They're retaking the top. They're going to try and apply the pressure, but the heels are caught just on the rotate. 10 seconds, though. Shepard has to try and shove this diffuser in just close on the doorway and hope the cover is enough, but there's nobody else immediately around. Keenan gets one more. They're going for the retake on the top. There's also the swing round on the pillar side, too, but it's Gomfy that gets that final take, drops the diffuser, and finds themselves with a second round in a row.
There were only so many angles they could cover, and if it wasn't the person from the laundry that managed to get him, it was the one that walked in from pillars into reading. Whilst, of course, the cover was busy upstairs with the one man trying to go for the flank. 2-0 for Secret now. They are almost near the complete rotation. Decide to go kitchen service and kitchen cooking now. The bottom floor that will be. There's many different ways to go about this. Sometimes we do see a bakery hold. Sometimes we just see it being completely ignored and more of a top floor hold with verticals into prep, with verticals into the bakery breach wall, for example, to be played. And if that's the case, then Empire again need to go for that roam clear, which has cost them a couple of lives in, well, especially that previous round where Keenan just suddenly pops up on the staircase.
Talk about flexibility from the side of Secret. The operator juggling that's going on this roster so far across these first 3 rounds has been pretty consistent. Packbull is now the one back on the smoke. Kendrew is now the one that's picking up the mantle of the Jaeger. And Gomfy, who, to be fair, was on the Valk in the first round, took it back and then swapped it out for the Mozzie. It's just this consistent sort of change of pace. They're adaptive, and that's something that can be a bit dangerous against a team like Empire, because if they don't quite have that handle on them, see, we're seeing the start of that, is they get a little bit lost in their droning. They get a little bit kind of cautious in how they play, and in their own words, that was when they were at their weakest in those splits that really just were not going the Russians' way.
They've managed to mess up that wall onto the freezer real bad. If you just look at that, there's so many little holes in there.
Yeah.
That is going to be, like, you're not going to be putting a breaching charge in that. That is just guaranteed death. So they have to use an impact of joystick or try and get an RC Retiro in there if they want to use that area of the map and have to use that wall to actually get inside of the freezer. So that is something that's often done, of course, so you can still challenge from VIP towards the freezer in case they would go for a hatch drop, but you don't want to give them a free rotation in. So that is why they try and mess up the wall as much as they do.
Now we'll talk about the massive LMG before. Swapped out to the rifle that you don't see too much. Yep. Obviously had a bit of a change in terms of how the recoil is handled, and then a little bit more of a change. Didn't it come a bit more into line recently? Either way, it's still less seen, and well, we might see it get the opener here. They have an idea that somebody's just dancing around the bottom of those stairs, but they'll be well aware of each other. Going to bring the drone round instead of taking that fight blind. Gomfy is just hovering not too far away, but it was actually Keenan, I think, that's rotated all the way off. Kendrew finds the fight on the top of Lumber and is able to take it out. Sprays down, can't quite get this solid kill though, and it's the cover that's coming through. Saved by Always. No one is quite there to get a bit of revenge. Almost opened this up with a big play there. They obviously still had another body that I think was trying to put pressure from the split side there too, but great pace from Empire here.
Just look at the amount of drones that already have been killed, though. I believe I count at least 5 that are taken out. Dan lost out of drones. Scyther out of drones. Always just has one pre-placed left. Joystick, of course, in that low HP is now watching said drone, making sure that, of course, he's only going to be used at the very final point of it, because he is that low on HP. He's not really going to be able to take an engagement one-on-one. He'll have to play this smart, potentially, in the retake. Good usage here of these Selmas. It was electrified, but it just decided to get the edges on top of it. That allows them to completely circumvent the electric claw that has been placed. The hatch now has been opened up, and now they need to get VIP control, with just 50 seconds left, which is still plenty of time. But the Mozzie drone is being spotted out, so there should be an ID that, you know, they are indeed coming from that side.
Wait, that's not one of ours, they say, as they get the read on the slightly different light that's on the front of that drone, and now Always is looking for the hold above. We saw them go for a similar thing before, and we saw them with a similar amount of time previously. However, they have a lot more operators still on the board at this moment in time. They're sort of waiting to try and find that little pocket of space that they can try and shove the diffuser in, and hopefully this time around they'll have a little bit more cover. A canister pops off in the meantime to buy some time. Packball still has no longer any more in pocket, and there's the spray and the prey just around that body inside the bakery. The drop has come. They're inside the freezer. The flashes are through, but as Packball with a shotgun gets one, gets traded. Keenan picks up on the back stairs on the side of the door. 5 seconds. One of them is really far away, and now he's the only one left. Cannot quite get the solidity here. Secret. Another time that they've pushed Empire all the way to the end of the round and held on to the hold.
Yeah, definitely, and that's a full rotation complete. Packball was completely blinded, just timed his shot with the M59 perfectly and managed to get a kill out of it. That's more than he should have gotten that situation. He was completely blind, and of course with that shotgun in his hand, can shoot once before he's going to get peeked and taken care of. So, good shot from him. Allowed them to bring the numbers back into their favor, really, and buy a little bit of extra time for the rest of the team to get into a position where they could stop the freezer push from happening. Might have a tack timeout, not quite sure. We might just still be in that game, but we see them talking. Yeah, we're still in the game. So, Joystick, again, Finka coming out, and he's not really finding his groove so far, because he started off on the Finka, wasn't quite able to make an impact, went to the LMG the round after, but decided that was not really the play for him either, so went to the M762, where he got instantly down and lost the first gunfight of the round to Keenan. So, well, still struggling just a little bit for now. Let's hope he finds his groove soon, especially on this Finka, who I believe, but I'm not longer sure. You know, Smoke used to be a counter to Finka.
Yeah.
Where you would take double damage when the Adrenaline Surge was active.
I still believe it is.
I don't think it is anymore.
Oh, really?
I think it got removed. I saw Lycan and Pengu tweet about it. So
Lycan and Pengu?
Yeah, Lycan and Pengu. They were having a discussion about it. So
well, that's...
maybe, just maybe, it's a good idea. I know, Jess, Fresh, you're watching. Can we maybe get an update on how to... Well, you should be watching. If you're not, please, I'm going to bring it up to you again. Can we get a updated segment on what Finka does now? Because there's been a lot of changes, and we see her more and more. It could be good to actually see if she's becoming more and more useful now.
One of those things to test. Also, obviously, Twitch now has found her way in. The F2 is still a terrifying gun in the right hands, and Dan can be on his day. So far, hasn't quite been able to light up into this game as of yet, but nobody from Empire really has. It's been a bit of a tricky situation. They're trying to be this aggressive team. They're trying to get these early takes, but Secret, they're seemingly just a little bit loose. And I do like that we're seeing a bit of an increase in pace here from Empire. They're not slowing down. They're not getting cautious. As I said before, it's something that they've quoted was their problem. They were droning and then re-droning and not quite acting on the intel. Here, this is them going for those drops, going to apply the pressure back to Secret. They know that they can step up the pace, and they're going to make sure that they're the team to do it.
For sure. Bit of noise being made there, bit of glass being broken, not quite sure where it came from, so instantly deflected downstairs, but every single member currently on that top floor close to it. Basically, Comfy is the only one that's in between it because he's like halfway on the stairs, halfway down the stairs. Either way, Empire trying to pick up the pace indeed. Dan taking control of the piano there. Quick flashbang with a grenade, taking care of the pixel shield. That will dislocate Keenan, force him back a little bit towards the cocktail balcony. That might just be what Empire need, but they need to act on the ground they've just managed to create for themselves.
The way that came through as well, I think it destroyed both ADSs. I don't think they were burnt. We saw the smoke canister go over the top, but I didn't hear any of them actually get burnt. I think it was just a really well-placed grenade there on the side. It gives them a lot of time. We can see the Echo drone has obviously been picked up, and they're generally juggling on the eyes of that. They're hoping that they see another late plant come through by Empire, but Empire, they're fighting and biting for as much time as possible. Oh yeah, over the top of the hard wall. Very nice angle there. Gives them that sort of flat line all the way across, and again, look, they're just waiting for the plant attempt to come through. They're waiting for the pressure. They know they don't need to throw themselves in. Pack Ball buried on the corner of Lumber will have the cover across the side of White, and will have the caution and the call as soon as the pressure comes through.
And both those Echo drones are going to be making it into the rank games right there. Grenade comes in, Keenan goes down, gets confirmed by Dan, and that's going to be the entry. Double entry, actually, for Empire here. 30 seconds left on the clock, and it's going their way.
Suddenly the spray comes over the top, but it's all going Scyther's way. 26 seconds. Gone deeper into the middle of the freezer and finds a double. Kendrew only has a sliver of health left, and it doesn't take much more from Shepard to lock it off their Empire. As I said, they found themselves with a little bit of pace. I like the tiny Kendrew. just hiding, just sneaking in there. It was Empire stepping up on the pace. They've made the right decision there. They didn't need the timeout. They have had this growth over the past, 6 months, where they've sort of refound themselves as this team that can be aggressive and can be quick, and that's the example of that. They're learning from their own mistakes and making sure that they're able to drive themselves back in.
Now, Secret will continue to force the rotation. Even though they just lost the top floor, they're going down to Reading Room Fireplace. And again, we do see the Echo coming out. Of course, Empire didn't really let them have the opportunity to use it in the previous round. They were a little bit quicker, no plant coming down, just purely going for those kills. But we could maybe see a bit of a relapse here where Empire go for another slow take. It, of course, all depends on how well Secret can hold on to that top floor. How much can they hinder them at getting that control vertically? If they manage to waste 2 minutes for that, for example, before they finally try and fall back, that is going to be leaving Empire with a minute to start opening up holes and to start getting ready for the execute. That way, the Yokais will be coming in clutch. Of course, anything less could also still come in clutch. It all depends on how quick these two teams are. But generally, if they start hitting the side with a minute left on the clock, you're not going to be getting as much value out of it as you would like.
Again, we're seeing change of Secret's place. They're opting and sort of updating everything that they do every single time. The Echo is sticking around. They're not going to go onto the Pulse this time. They're not going to go back to the Valkyrie or play around that intel. They're going to see if they can again force this late play potentially and just have a bit of a cancel as well. But it was also creative use of those drones. They were getting really good calls and beats of information. And well, Dan might be about to try and take one of them out. He's waiting for it to hop up, but look at this. The Twitch drone was a pickup and a change that they saw before, maybe just saved the life of that Echo.
I'm quickly trying to find out. It's not on the HUD above, so I'm not quite sure if we managed to get the third shot off. No, it's still there. We'll just picked it up, so both are back in pocket for now. As it just gets tossed out. Tries to get it into a good spot again, where it is quite hidden. You might be able to look over, small, tiny pixels, just enough to get that sonic burst through.
Look at that Twitch drone jump. Look at the skill and the unlimited range it has. Unfortunately, look at it go quite early. It was a good adaptation, though. We obviously saw it get rid of the Kaid Claw, or at least one of them. It's going to limit the play that can be done there on that wall. It's going to make their entrances a little bit cleaner and smoother, doing some prep work before they hit the sort of hurdles that they've otherwise got to throw themselves over. Good changes. Good adaptation, good manipulation, but can they follow it up with a good rest of the round the same way that they're able to replicate just before?
That's going to be the big question indeed. Joystick still on that finger. It's going to be providing a boost probably anytime soon now, as soon as they start taking contact just to heal up a little bit. There comes the first one, goes down. Unfortunately, it's going to be Gomfi that picks up the first kill. So Empire again, a man down. And, you know, the two Yokai drones still in play. They need to make sure to get this top floor control soon. Otherwise, it's going to be ending very badly for them.
Now what they want to try and do here is isolate the rotation round to make sure that if anyone does come up the stairs, they can put some bullets into them as they did before. The drop goes out over the top, but they've already long left at this point, and in fact, they don't even need to really pop it off. Joystick is going to hold the top of the staircase as they potentially start to smash open all the angles that they'll need. A minute on, and it was a bit of a blow and a faux pas for them before. There it is. There's those angles I talked about just before, where I said at the bottom of white stairs. It really isolates that rotation, puts them in a tricky situation because, well, there's nowhere massively comfortable to go, and that's the big play of this verticality.
Coming in, the money vertical angles are coming through, but 40 seconds left on the clock still. Two Yokai drones, I believe, in play. That might be coming in big in about, well, 10 seconds from now, when they will start to try and get that diffuser down. Always working very hard on the vertical control right here. You see the Iruni gates are being wasted. A bit of an extra breach is being opened as well to provide some extra line of sight, but there goes the plans. The Banshee has been taken care of. Shepard just starts now. 15 seconds on the clock. That's enough to go for two of these birds there. It pops up. That's one. Tries to get back in cover, but fails to do so. And now the plan will go down. It's a 4-on-2 situation.
Yeah, they had all the cover there. They had the quick wherewithal to try and get rid of that Echo drone. The spray from Gomfi is able to get one more lit up, but they'll know where that is. There it is. Caught as well. Packball went and retook the top. Might not know about the body just behind the bar, but they do now always. Pops up, delivers a service. Unfortunately, it was a service of death, and with the last one coming through on Lumber, it's Empire being able to step it up, find their second, and sort of angling towards an even half.
Trying to get towards that 3-3, and, you know, on Cafe, if you manage to get two attacking rounds, that is already considered quite good. So Empire really doing their jobs right now. There's a secret going back towards that top floor. The rotation will be broken. They managed to successfully complete it once. Now they've lost 2 out of the 3 and decide to go back to the first option. Think they have the best opportunity over there. Maestro being brought out. Goyo as well. Of course, 6-pick is still in play right now. Question is, will we see it? Goyo still not locked in, so that might be changed to a different operator, but I believe, yep, this is the lineup. We're going in with these 10 operators. No changes on the board.
It worked for them the first time round. It worked for them, but it was built on that mantle of aggression. It was built on those Valkyrie cams. If we're going to talk about all the sort of rotations and operated plays that we've seen Secret pull out, this is back to square one in a way. And to be fair, better sooner rather than later, because we're seeing Empire get confident, and that's when you can punish them. That's when you can sort of play against those games outside. Hope that they've forgotten how you opened this and try and end it in the same way before that quick pace Empire gets to the building again.
And you know, if you're going to be ending up in a 3-3 situation, that Empire is going to be playing their absolute best on the defense like they usually do. It is, of course, the team that is the runner-up from the past major we had in Mexico. So you can definitely not count them out, even if they would be 3-0 behind, which, of course, they were earlier on. I really like the Valkyrie camera, by the way, that Gomfi's tossing out, because Empire expects it to be on the building on the side, but it just tosses it on the road. This is going to be used for a C4 toss out. So Kendra is looking on the camera. He will punch it. Now there could be a triple kill. Oh no, that could come out. There goes one. Just a little bit too late for all 3. But Dan will be taken out first. That is going to be the Twitch out of play. It's going to be putting Empire men down.
Well, we've seen Dan able to get 4 kills over the past 2 rounds, potentially just 3, but either way, the main thing was those Twitch drones. It was such a quick blow towards those backline holds of Secret that by the time Empire was getting to the walls, they had some of the work done, which was sort of where they were getting a bit stuck before. They found themselves still with about 20, 30 seconds, but it was still 10 more seconds than they were able to manage before, and that was the precious difference between getting it off and unfortunately losing the round out here. An early blow, an early play, and another window break, drawing the attention, making them uncomfortable and spraying through, but it's the C4 off the top. Their attention was sort of pulled by Gomfi and by Kendrew. It was 3 stories of, hey, look at us. But it was only the top one that mattered in the end. The spray on Cigar doesn't quite go their way. Keenan is keeping it locked off. We're suddenly in a replica of that first round. Only 2 Empire players left. Both of them have dropped onto red. Can they do anything more with it this time round?
Shuttle Peaks coming in. Sider not able to win that gunfight. It's a double for Keenan this time around as well. Shepard just inside the rotation next to the minibar, waiting for the secret members to peek in. But this looks like it should be a secret round. There's 1 minute 20 still left on the clock, though. It's plenty of time to try and work out a clutch here. But if secret does nothing wrong, there's no way it will go their way. Keenan now made aware of the presence on top. Red will try and go for the gunfight. Now actually digs in deeper, knows that he is the one that needs to be aggressed onto. He doesn't need to go for the peaks, does it anyway. Spots him out and activates the Rooney laser gate again.
Gate's back up, door's closed, Shepard, and you're just going to get rid of that. But at this time, I guess you're sort of hoping that they make an aggressive mistake and swing into you. And even then, it's just the start of a potential claw back round. But look at this. Secret know that they're not going to offer him anything. They know the skill and the caliber of this player, and they know that they need that 4-2 before they go into the other side. Shepard knows that there's no way in that way round, so instead drops, hops, and rotates around. Going to see if there's anybody getting a peek round. The camera is going to give all of the intel they need. There's still a Maestro come up there, draws at least some attention away, but that's just 30 seconds sort of past now. 20 seconds left before we find ourselves on the split, and Secret have done well. They've refound themselves a bit of momentum before the turn of the half, which they're probably desperately going to need as the rotation comes through. Caught by Keenan on a triple, a flawless to lock it off. And we find ourselves heading over to a Team Empire defense.
Flawless round coming through. The defense, indeed, as you said, coming in from Empire. However, Secret will be coming into this one with a small lead. It's going to be 2 rounds. And of course, will it be enough? Are they going to be able to lock it out from here? It's a pause that has been called. Seems like, just quickly talking there, Kendrew taking the lead, of course.
Kind of team talking.
Yeah, a bit of a team talk.
I have that exact same fan that Kendrew's got.
I don't even see... Oh, the one behind it. I was going to say, I thought the wind was blowing in from his his right-hand side, our left. But it's right behind him. Okay.
I guess we both do live in the same country, so it's very likely that we both just went onto the internet, searched standing fan,
recommendations,
and then
bought
found
the first one?
and then bought the first one.
Okay,
I think that is very likely what happened.
Is it a good fan, though?
Yeah, it's a great fan.
Okay, great.
I guess it's always the glimpse into the players' lives is I love Shepard's single tiny Pikachu, and then it looks like an RGB kitchen.
I think so, indeed. I just love that joystick. He has all the chibis behind him. Do you see that in the closet there?
Yeah.
Love that as well.
Well, don't you have?
I have
that.
them all
Why
as
you?
Well. No, it's not why I pointed it out. I'm not trying to flex here. I don't have them all behind me right now. They're back at home.
They're back at home.
This could have been such a great triple kill.
It was very close
earlier.
Yeah, but still, to take out Dan, as I said, he was a lead and he was a good bit of momentum for Empire that they sort of preciously needed. And
yeah,
you know, there's that change of force and change of face, and we found ourselves back with a replication of it. Because if that had gone to a 3-3, if Empire had been able to take 3 in a row and taken all the momentum, that would have been such a good setup for them to go into their defense with.
It would have indeed been. They would have, first of all, come out and out on top as the winners of that half. 3 rounds is considered good on the attack on Cafe. Then they would have the momentum as well, as you said. So that will really be an issue. Potential flying towards that second half. Able to pick up a couple of extra rounds. But as we go right now, just this pause right now.
His joystick's head just on his screen.
If what?
His joystick was just leaning his forehead against the screen.
I mean,
he was getting the power.
Like Gerzeka, he's just 1 centimeter off it. Like I guess joystick does the same when he's playing.
He was just pulling the energy out of it, preparing himself.
Is that how a cyborg charges himself up?
How a cyborg charges.
Wireless himself up to a wireless charging monitor.
Yeah. And let's see if it pays off. As we find ourselves back in there after that momentary pause, we are on a bit of a split here. And the bait is an Amaru. That's a bit of a change, obviously. There was a couple of potentials there, but if you would have thought anything would get 6th pick, it's usually in that lineup the Ying, because that's one of those sort of operators where it's everything gets behind it or nothing does, and it can really force a potential potentially different game here. As it was highlighted on the desk, Empire don't really run Wumai. They're generally strictly a Jaeger team on this map, at least. So it can also work as a big burn. But Sleben on that Amaru, where are you going to go, is my question.
New cocktail balcony. You're gonna go out there, honestly. What other way could you go for? Technically, you could go for a quick punch. You could drop Skylight with all the Ying's Candelas to come down, and you could repel back up if that's what you want. You know, it's possible with the grappling hook. But otherwise, it's either going to be a quick insertion into the first floor, or it's going to be directly into the new cocktail balcony, which is currently being spawn peeked by a jump out of Scyther.
Didn't quite catch anything there, but it's the new flash mechanics. Ying has found herself slightly stronger off with how things play out, if you can catch them just right. It's also brought a little bit more prominence to flash grenades, and there's something where if you're looking at things like potentially that drop or a bit of those pacey plays, it can come together. You can see Sleben on the far side is entirely prepping
I think they're going
for that
quick.
cocktail. Yeah, they want to try and put a pace here. It's a bit of a gamble play. They're going to try and make some noise and catch them off. There's a gate that's definitely going to get a bit of damage done here as they sit and wait. They can't really do this without all the pressure coming out from other sides.
They want to drop down the Skylight, I think, at the same time as Sleben is about to be swinging in from the new cocktail balcony. So there is that laser gate, of course. I think that is going to be damage that he will just take. He wants to stay hidden as long as possible. Oh, he took it out. Never mind. I was going to say, I think that will just be damage that he will be taking, but uses a flashbang for... No, actually, what did he use? Was it a teammate that used? Oh, it's still active, isn't it? I don't know.
I think it's still active, but either way, they found their way into the top of red. They just need to draw some of the attention and eyes away. They're going to try and roll and drop some of this intel, lure them into a false sense of security. Say, we're doing a red take. Don't worry about it. Don't think about what could have been sixth pick here as Amaru sits and waits underneath that window, because what you want to do is, again, draw focus away. It's only going to be as powerful as all the attention that is otherwise off it when it comes to the moment of that repel being put up and hammered home. But with a minute 20 left, they've really got to start trying to formulate a way and a take here. There's only so much of this play you can do. Kendra is still waiting above, ready with those Candelas. The burn and the burst comes through. The long flash grenade. Here it is. Here we go. The show is about to start, and it almost starts with Scyther dropping. But they'll give the game away that there's a body on top of the Skylight.
Yeah, definitely so, and of course that is going to be the Ying who will be trying to flash it just momentarily. There's 55 seconds left. Angles still being held. No entry kill for any of the teams. Secret is getting ready to go in quickly. That is going to be a direct rotation inside the sides, and now it's just a matter of counting down before they're going in.
The spray comes through. The first Candelas do get caught out, but the second roll home. The Maestro is going to be blinded as Packbull tries to go deep. The cover is just on the side of the freezer. It comes through. The Amaru is in and up and dropping 1 and 2. Round on the back line, now looking to Lumber, goes for the cross spray, can't quite find Dan, buried in the bathroom, but the rotation comes around on the backside, drops the sledge. They weren't able to get the diffuser down as the covers found it isolated, only 20 seconds left in a 2 versus 2. Kendrew tries to pick it up and can't quite find a floor on the home. It's Scyther hopped up over the top on the back of the bar. Suddenly Gomfy drops the man and puts them in a 1 versus 1, but the camera on the wall is giving the entire game away. It's a spray and a save from Dan. He found themselves locked on a back line, a corner they couldn't quite clear. Almost full clarity from Secret, but their eyes were on the wrong prize.
They managed to start us so strong there. They got 2 kills with the Amaru. They managed to get the opening kill as well as they started pushing in. However, the man with the diffuser was just taken out right before the cover was perfectly there. And of course as well, just a missed gunfight from the Ying inside of the bathroom. In that case, turn it all down into a round for Empire, and that is going to be another round they managed to close for now. Dokkaebi being brought out, the Ying is being 6-picked out. Same for the Thunderbird, that will turn into a Cade. Of course, to use reinforcing hatches or walls, depending on the site. Probably will be a wall here instead of a hatch. But that was a very good execute, you'd almost say. It's just 2 gunfights that were lost that unfortunately cost them the round.
Yeah, it was all just a single player in a power position that had that angle, had that cross, and had that stretch. They played all of these different ideas, but how deep that initial plant went and hoping that the cover came through. Just one player, one brave player of Empire on the double down of the shots, round on the swing. Put that diffuser cold, and then suddenly Secret is scrambling for a bit of a pickup and resurgence. Here, as they go down one more. The Kaid Claw is just going to be dropped there as they go for the catch on the wall above.
Just wanted to be quickly sure, I guess, on which side to place it.
It's always safer to check.
Do you want it on the hallway side, or do you want it in the reading room side? Of course, it's inside the reading room now. Hatch also being reinforced, well, electrified rather. It's going to be making the drop into the trains a little bit tougher to go for. Of course, they could still do it if they waste, you know, well, they cannot do it now, but if they would have the eggs, they could use 2 Selmas to get rid of it by using the edges, like we've seen, of course, on the freezer push we had before. Black Eyes being tossed out, giving away some good information. Joystick is on those chems right now. They're trying to figure out where the push is going to be coming from. That will, of course, be on that top floor for a top-down take. They need the verticality to get into the reading room. And as they're quickly and frantically searching for any of these Valkyrie cameras, they're unable to find any as of now. And that means that this part of the map will be clear. You can go in from here, and that is going to be a pain to come through. Might even result into an attempt at wallbang. There you have it.
Yeah, there's the spray onto that window to see if they can connect with the body that's just holding off loose, and doesn't quite find its way all around onto that corner. They're just going to bury in and actually pull back a little, it seems like. They're not going to be too hyper-aggressive and hope that they can get the catch here on that side of the fireplace. A couple of scratches from the electrified hatch, but just enough to open them at an angle as they steady their way down along white.
So lines aside, rotations are being made here. Of course, a Gemini replicator spotted outside to on the planks, but might not be aware of the second member being on the balcony, and of course a third onto the white stairs. There's plenty of support here for Empire to stop this push right in its tracks, and as long as they don't get Cocktail Balcony under control, that is going to be a very difficult round for Secret here as Gomfy tries to go for a gunfight. Goes prone. He's going to be very limited here as he gets team killed by Keenan, who picks up a double as a result.
No, it was one apiece for Keenan and Kendrew, but suddenly it's back to Empire's favor. Joystick is the first man to get the double on the board, almost suffers to Slebin on the backside, slips past, but it's Kendrew that finds one more for the cost of it, and suddenly Shepard is alone. A bit of a separation here. And is almost able to isolate that into 2-1 versus 1, so it drops the drone to not give the game away, is aware that they were playing around in that window, but has otherwise come through a long rotation. Time is in his favor. All 3 canisters are still in the pockets as well, so he could potentially really funnel them to an unfortunate situation as the first one gets popped off towards fireplace. He goes for the rotation, doesn't see the body that's otherwise gone to the door right now. Kendrew has set himself up with the Gon 6 to do exactly that. That's going to give the call away. There's the burn. There's potentially another canister that might come to this door. There it is. And that puts them in a really tricky situation. Oh no, wait. The diffuser is somewhere else. They're playing a bit of a bait game here, but Kendrew gets the kill anyway. Secret, they find the win here.
They find a win indeed, and they try to clutch it out, tossed in the toxic bait, but as you said, the defuse was going for a different way. It was going to be a punch push or pinch play at the same time. They wanted to make sure they attacked 2 angles at the same time. It would just be too dangerous to both brute force yourself through that door, especially with the angles that were still available, and then the counterfall from the laundry room. And with that, we find ourselves 3-5. Tachanka is being brought out, always is picking him up for now, but of course we can never say for certain that it will make it through, especially not with the 6th pick, as you see for Monty right now.
There it is, Monty to Dockerby. 2 flirts of danger. I know that they talked a little bit about the Monty plays for Secret when they were sort of playing around on this before, and, well, they're not going to play it this time around. Different roster, a lot of pace and a lot of aggression. I think that's working for them quite well. Okay, there was that attempt on a rush, but when they try to explode their way onto site, they really do go all in, guns blazing, and Empire just haven't found a way to sort of keep that solidity locked off as of yet, utilizing that huge gun to do huge holes and openings all around.
Yeah, definitely so. Of course, like a shotgun, but with a bit more ammo instead. Basically with the same destruction here, so really working wonders to create these rotations, the lines aside and everything that Empire may well desire for this hold.
It's architecture with a gun.
It's an art form.
It's an art.
It's a destructive art form.
Would you call it brutalism?
As the kind of art it is?
Well, the architecture.
Yeah, you know, but you like
That's
modernism.
one of my smartest jokes. And it's not very smart. 5-3 It's brutalism because it's done with a gun, guys.
I know, I understood it.
I know,
was just trying to say, you know, modernism, you know, like is that kind of what you're trying to go for? But then like modernism because you're doing it with violence.
Okay, now you're just outsmarting me. Listen, let me be the smart one for like.
I thought that was honestly
seconds.
why you said brutalism. Like you thought it through that same direction.
Nah, I just thought, whatever. 2 minutes 20. 2 minutes 20. They found their way into the top. They have dropped onto red. Secret wants to have the pace that is otherwise needing to be applied, but they're going for a full clear here. They're making sure there aren't any loose Empire players. They're going to see if there are. They can try and isolate them into a firefight early, get them off before they go for the take onto train above to then limit themselves onto that approach down below. You can open some very tall, dangerous holes here, and you can kind of set yourself up for big angles, but you do run that risk that we saw always suffer from a couple of times when he was on the sledge roll before, is if things start to go wrong, you can be quite far away from helping them go better.
So we do not see the ace being brought out, something we did see, for example, from Empire when they were struggling with this exact same hatch. However, what we do see from Empire is that there's currently no Cade Electroclaw on the board either. So there is no need to open it up like that. You could just do it with the Hibana with the 4 charges to come through. And as we speak about it, Packball already completely out of charges. So I'm not quite sure what he has been trying to open up. It seems like that's actually, okay, on that top floor that is being used a bit, not on the actual breaches. So they might think they don't need these.
Oh, they are really trying to find some of the angles on the bodies in underneath, but they're buried and hiding just out of sight, I believe that was.
You can find him if he steps a bit forward.
Yeah,
you
just saw
see
him
there, but he doesn't realize that, I think.
Just saw him, Sleben, but, well, that's our power, is we're specifically looking for it and not concerned about being shot, which they have. That same thing there is the Shumika launcher, just popping that bit of time and doubled up by the canister. The call comes through. Now, as it's going to force them into a bit of a trickier situation, they're not going to care too much as Keenan just goes for the drop, finds the fire in the fight, and finds one more dropped in the middle. Nobody's behind that shield, but suddenly that C4 doesn't quite connect. Keenan is in a very tight situation. The call comes through, though, dropped through the previously opened hole there. Joysticks get able to finally get that locked off as the rest of the bodies have fallen elsewhere. Now, with only a few kind of bodies remaining, and, well, even less is Sleben.
Timing.
As I said at the beginning, if you find yourself up top and you need to find a way down, sometimes it's a very long route to go and you only have 5 seconds left. Empire find their 4th round.
Now. Yeah, they will be able to pick that one up. It was a brave attempt running through the fire. However, you know, the panic was coming in. Shots from every direction. The nitro cell that blew out the only piece of cover he would be able to use in bunks there. And Keenan quickly fell right afterwards. Of course, the diffuser wasn't able to be planted either. We have ourselves the tactical timeout. Team Secret will be calling it. Of course, because that attack didn't really go as they would have planned. So, quickly trying to get everybody into the same direction again. Like, okay, we need to focus on this, this, and this. Let's get ready. I assume, at least. Maybe they're just talking about completely different stuff.
I don't know what it is about the photograph of Gumfy, whether it's just like so high res,
He's just staring at it.
It looks like CGI. Like it looks like, but like really good, like AAA, like Avengers level CV. But it does.
It's a new Avenger. No, they're still looking for some extra Avengers, I've heard. So
there he is, Gumfy.
There he is, Gumfy.
I don't know what it is.
The 9th Avenger or something.
The tactical timeout isn't 52 minutes long.
No, that is just a joke.
That's just a little production joke that we've thrown in there for you. It's about to run out in a couple of seconds. Yeah. And we'll find ourselves back in. Why they're taking it when they're ahead? Because, as Hat pointed out, that attack didn't quite connect. And this late in the game, if Empire build a bit of momentum, then suddenly you find yourself in OT, or worse, when you know that there are these situations where it's these little mistakes are starting to bleed through. When you go with this hyper-aggressive playstyle, those little mistakes can be more common and more prevalent, and you have to be more attuned and aware of just how you're approaching these sites and just how you're assembling yourself, regardless of whether you're the Avengers or not.
For sure. Good joke, by the way. I understood that.
Thank you. Better than my brutalism architecture joke.
Well, I just overanalyzed that one, I think.
Milos is just dramatically putting in his headset next to us.
Yeah, he's just trying to pull some cables the right way. Either way, why the lights were going back on suddenly? I thought maybe we were swapping to a Milos shot. But either way, we're back into the game now. Round 10 is coming in. We saw some 6 picks coming in. We see the Flores and the Frost Frost, of course, being the operator that might not be expected right now. We saw her basically shoot up at the pick rates when she had the 1.5, but now she's also dwindling ever so slightly. Now the scope has been removed. Of course, still sees more play than she has seen in all her seasons combined, I would dare to say, over the past couple of seasons. And it's kind of refreshing, right? It's like that PC utility. If you place it in a window and you don't get rid of it, it is either you take the gunfight or you're going to take the Frostman. Like, there's no win-win in those situations. So it forces extra utility clearage.
Did she see much play when it was the Sniper 90? I don't remember that long ago.
I don't remember that either. Yes, Milos says
it was such a
the
long
walking
time ago.
encyclopedia from those seasons.
What a nightmare that was.
Was it a Super 90 being used though, the Sniper 90? Okay, yes, it was.
I mean,
of course
why would it?
You know, yeah,
the thing had the range of any gun in the game.
we just have to make sure that we have everything factually correct here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sniper 90. It's basically like the Blackbeard face shield we've had back in the day.
800 health. Wasn't it 5 years ago today? 4 years ago today? It went down from 800 health to 150.
Maybe, actually. Long we've come.
Everybody celebrates apart from Blackbeard. Okay, they have the cams, they have the intel, they have an idea. We have a Nomad. That is something that we haven't seen too much in this game, but you do often see quite a lot on Cafe because of the limitations of the rotations back up. There's only a couple of staircases. It's not a huge amount of options as there might be on other maps. And a lot of them are very isolated. The rotations, you don't really have any angles into the core of the white of the staircase, just the top and the bottom of it. Same with the red. So if somebody does get caught out on that sort of flank up or down, it can be this sort of decisive moment. There's not many other places that you can go to get out of that danger slot. The audio enough will give all of those aggressors enough time to gather around you, like Sharks talking of. They are
Oh no! I was looking
no.
at it earlier. I was wondering where the third one would be. Of course, they should be safely picked back up again, but it's still good. Oh, that's a nitro. That is just blowing her up right there. That is just in time. The confirmation from Dan onto Packbull with that nitro cell. So that is going to be an entry kill. Maybe a bit of an anticlimactic one, but you know, it's going to be the entry nonetheless. No gunfight was taken for it. And with 50 seconds left, Secret only have 4 members left, so they're just going to try and go for it.
You could see the frustration in Packbull's face as he fell for it now, but as we heard, just popped over the top. It's not just that Maestro cam that is zapping, but a lot of guns too. Swung away at the worst possible time. A flawless for Empire as they battle back and find themselves getting the one just after the tack timeout from Secret. As I said, that danger of looming closer and closer to OT is something that's getting more prevalent. They just need one more round to secure at least a point. But Empire building momentum dangerously late in this game with what is their defenses ahead of them. We got to see something sharp from Secret.
I just got distracted by Shepard's RGB kitchen again. It is
Game
an
a
RGB
kitchen.
kitchen, is it not?
I think it's a kitchen.
I think it's a kitchen
because
as
it
well.
just looks like an oven underneath it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
We need any
We need
expert
confirmation.
chefs out there.
Milos!
is it a gamer kitchen?
You have to watch Shepard when he's back on full screen.
When it's on a
again.
full screen.
Yeah, when he's playing and he's being spectated, you will see the RGB kitchen
Yeah.
on the left-hand side of your
To
screen.
cook gamer meals.
Yeah. Definitely so. Maybe that gives him the edge today. Maybe, you know, if you cook your meals in RGB,
Yeah.
you become even more of a gamer.
Binge like Babish. 5-5. Empire, they've been slightly behind for most of this game, but they finally found themselves level. They've been able to connect a little bit more with Secret's game here that's otherwise suffered on the attacks. It was always going to be potentially less successful. They just need, as I said, one more round to be able to secure themselves an RT and a point, which, to be fair, on paper, when you're Secret fighting around the bottom of the board and you're up against the recent major finalists, that's pretty good. And I think that's something that you've always got to take away is Empire on a very good hot streak right now. Secret, they had a great start to the last split, but it started to taper towards the end. Their first split wasn't fantastic. They've gone through a lot of roster changes and juggles since then, so still just securing anything out of a game is a great possibility. How they led into this game, the pace that they applied at the beginning, you know, they definitely deserve it and could still fight their way to the top. But against Empire, it's never truly over.
is never truly over indeed. I was just quickly checking because we know at the start of this year we were like, okay, Empire is in a relegation position. They've actually managed to climb to relative safety there. They're 10 points loose of Team Secret now, currently in 5th place. Might even go to the finals if they end up getting more points than Kavana this stage. So, you know, Empire, a lot to play for here, but at the same time, Secret basically playing for survival because, well, they're basically in a little bit of a fight with Rogue. Whoever gets more points will not be relegated or play the relegation match at the end of the stage. And right now, they do seem to have quite a bit of fun. I don't know, they're just looking at each other, they're all confused. They're looking at cameras, maybe? I think they're looking for a camera. I think that's what they're doing. And the best way to do this is to not look around with your crosshair, but to just watch for peripheral view, see if anything changes. So sometimes you just see that small blue light pop up. That could be a way to find it, but I'm not sure if that's the case.
That small blue light, and the sort of way it gets blended out is one of the reasons that you see those cameras so frequently put on lights. Talking of, it's started to shine a little bit bright around here on the backside of Lumber. The grenade drops around the downside of the stairs. There is a body here, and it's been 2 Empire bodies taken off the top. They still have the smoke canisters in pocket, but the successful secret attack did come through here. It ended in a 2 versus 1. A minute 20 on the board, plenty of time for them to start trying to formulate a way through here as Empire is trying to reformulate a hold. They're a bit cautious. That C4, though, went on an adventure and almost found a victim here. It's a bit of a bouncing background as they sort of pull back, open up some angles, expect it to start to suffer around the pillar side, and they're going to make sure that they don't suffer in that engagement. They're going to sort of hand a bit of territory over here so they can build a little bit of a backline bastion between those 3 remaining players.
Keenan just quickly opening up even more of the flooring above, making sure the complete reading room will be safe, and that can give you a bit of a clue on what their push should look like. The proximity didn't actually go off. It was the timer on the concussion mine that gave away the play here. Dan goes big, manages to pick up a kill, brings it back to a 3-on-3. This is still very winnable for Empire this round, but Keenan Dan gets a big kill with that grenade.
Now, as they're seeing if they can force Dan out, Dan's actually come around the back. He's able to get one more, playing around this pillar side. And one more! Dan! Oh, can he get one more? It's down for the ace. Swung around the pillar.
Yes,
The pistol is in!
I thought he had it here as he dropped down, but had to go to the revolver. He managed to pick it up. I'm always get a bit nervous when I see the revolver coming out because it's like, oh no. Oh, this is going to be a very difficult gun. The other option, of course, would have been the .44 Magnum, which had the scope on it. Not the better gun in that situation, so it would have been good to have that revolver. But it's the ace of Dan who played a very important role in that round. Basically, was the round in that case. Just went for these aggressive peaks and just tried to force himself into the room, really. Stop the plant from happening. And completely, well, decimated the attack. So, Empire now match point. That is the danger for Secret.
As I said it, as it sort of came through, we saw them pull away from pillars. They handed over that plant spot. And as I said, they wanted to reformulate their hold. And apparently it was also that sort of bait. They kind of said, here's some free real estate. And Secret went, oh, thanks. And then Dan went, ha ha ha.
But no.
So you thought, swung around from the Zulu side and was able to swing. And I don't think he expected to survive there as long as he did. You saw him frequently take a bite, swing back around, have a look over to Newbauk, see if someone was there. They weren't. So now he could swing in even deeper and then able to get it and then just setting himself up and reformulating. There's 15 seconds left. They're hopping down. It's a 2 versus 1, the worst way around for them at this point. And, that was built behind the back of Dan there. 6-5. They've slipped 1 round ahead. Secret still 1 round away from securing a point. They've fought bitterly for it. They've unfortunately found the cost of that as Empire has fought back.
They definitely have. They fought back. They started off with a 3-0 hit for Secret. Quickly turned around into a 4-2. Still for them, of course. After the Empire have been on point. Quick bunch of X-Cars being used to create a bit of a line of sight into the garage towards the brown stairs area. Might be able to put up a bit of a challenge up there. Turn to the top floor already, though. We'll be securing that top floor, going down towards the first quickly. So this is good time usage here of Secret. Very efficient. If there is more people currently on that drone trying to figure out if the first floor is clear. Surely they'll find out soon because all 5 are downstairs. And then they will start trying to open up. They'll be using that sledgehammer to open up as many of the vertical angles as possible. But you have to be careful because there is going to be Valkyrie cameras up there probably to guide some of these nitros in there.
That's 2 of these rounds now that Dan has been the one that's clutched out on the defense. So there was the time where he was buried in the bathroom and then went for the fast plant the first time round. And then there was where he locked in the ace. Okay, there were still players standing. It might not have been a lockdown, but the man got an ace on a defense when they were in a 5 versus 3. You have to give credit where it's due. If those 2 rounds had gone the other way, it would be a secret game right now. We'd find ourselves in a different position. That's something that you've always got to sort of keep in mind, because he didn't have the best start to this game on the attacks, but these defenses he has connected with so well.
Oh! I was talking about it. Like, the Nitro is coming in. There was a Valkyrie camera up there. You already saw it being prepped with a Deagle earlier on, just there on the fireplace. And as soon as he just sledged that open, the Call came through at the same time as the Black Eye got shot. And that is the entry for Empire yet once more. That's Keenan gone. That is part of your self-destruction gone. But there is redundancy. Slevin, of course, on that buck has the opportunity to open up many of these angles by himself. But now he's, of course, going to be afraid as well. There could be a secondary C4 to come in. Of course, we know that's not the case because of the operator lineup. But that is not going to be playing into the minds of Secret right now. There's going to be 50 seconds or 55 seconds left on that clock. And Secret, well, they need to perform now. They need to win this attack. All the pressure is on them because Empire, well, they have an extra man advantage.
They're still trying to see if they can find a body from the top down. Before, this was a round where they sort of threw themselves into sight, but by the time they actually had some feet in there, everyone else had otherwise already been removed, seeing if they could force somebody out of the position. Nobody's there for both the grenades. It's actually Packball that gets the first. The hop over of Joystick from the prep is going to be the cover as they try and stick the diffuser on the backside. But Dan with one more swung around on the SMG on the backstairs. Packball has gone down in the meantime. The diffuser is in a very tricky to get to situation. Top of the freezer, waiting for the smoke to pass, but with only about 15 seconds from the second, that clears in a 4 versus 2. Make that a 3 versus 2 as Sleben locks it off. But you've got 13 seconds. You've got to try and drive your way back through. It's always with one more. It's a 1 versus 3, but not for very long. Empire battle their way back, secure themselves the full 3 points, and always he's instantly off.
He's like, time to cook a meal. That's done. We're going to eat. That was a 7-5 victory there, and I think what happened there in that final plant, but we might be able to go back on that, is when they tried to plant, it was the Shimikas coming in, it was the smokes that were dealing damage, and maybe even the Evil Eyes, because you just saw that HP drop down from 100 to 0 in about the fraction of a second up there.